Have you ever felt that deep, unsettling fear as a parent?
The kind that grips you when you sense something isn't right but can't quite put your finger on it. Today, we're diving into a message from God that speaks directly to that fear, especially for those of you with daughters. But even if you don't have a daughter, don't tune out just yet, because this message carries a warning and a call that touches every generation, every family, every soul. God's words are clear. A storm is coming, not just in your daughter's life, but in your life as well. It's a spiritual storm, one that will test faith, love, and family ties. Whether you're a mother, father, guardian, or even a mentor, the responsibility to stand firm in your faith and lead by example has never been more urgent. You'll need to be vigilant, strong in prayer, and steadfast in guiding you through this tough phase. Let's journey together through this critical message of hope, battle, and perseverance. By the end, you'll not only understand the spiritual attack facing your daughter, but you'll be empowered to stand tall as a warrior in her life. Let's begin. The warning, a time of temptation and challenge. The message begins with a warning. If you have a daughter, this is especially for you. God speaks to you directly. Your daughter is about to go through a serious phase of her life where she will face difficult decisions. These decisions won't be as straightforward as they seem. Some will appear harmless but will carry deep spiritual implications. Imagine this: your daughter is at a crossroads. Maybe she's in high school, college, or even working. Life is pulling her in various directions, with many paths promising happiness and fulfillment. Some of those paths will be tempting, offering quick satisfaction, societal approval, or the allure of independence. But not all that glitters is gold. The world, influenced by the enemy, will make certain choices look attractive, but these choices can lead her away from her faith, her family, and God. As a parent, you might notice changes in her behavior. Perhaps she becomes distant, rebellious, or confused. The temptation she faces may not just be about bad friends or bad habits, but something far deeper, a spiritual war aimed at her heart. She will be asked to question the very foundation of her upbringing and faith. Story 1: A Daughter's Crossroad. Let me share the story of Anna, a college sophomore. Raised in a Christian household, Anna was always the good girl, the one her parents could count on to make the right decisions. But during her second year of college, she encountered a professor who introduced her to ideas that questioned everything she'd ever believed. These weren't just intellectual challenges, these were spiritual attacks disguised as modern philosophy. Slowly, Anna began to pull away from her parents, attending church less, spending more time with friends who didn't share her faith, and engaging in activities that didn't align with her Christian values. Her parents noticed the shift but felt powerless. They had raised her with strong Christian principles, but now their advice seemed to fall on deaf ears. This is the moment where God calls parents like Anna's to step up in prayer, in faith, and in action. It's easy to feel helpless, but God is telling you, I am working behind the scenes. Do not give up. The enemy's strategy, division, and confusion. God reminds us in the message that the enemy's goal is to divide. The enemy knows the power of unity, and he aims to divide. He knows the strength of love and aims to weaken it through misunderstandings, rebellion, and strife. The enemy isn't just after your daughter's heart, he wants to create tension between you and her. Think about the times your daughter may have lashed out in anger or when misunderstandings created distance between you two. The enemy thrives in these moments, using them to sow seeds of division. In today's world, where social media, peer pressure, and societal expectations bombard young women, it's easy for them to feel confused about their identity and worth. God's message is clear: parents must remain vigilant. You can't afford to be complacent. Instead of reacting in anger or frustration, you must arm yourself spiritually. This is not a battle won with worldly advice or lectures. It requires prayer, spiritual wisdom, and most importantly, love. Story 2: The Power of Parental Prayer. Consider the story of Sarah, a high school student. Like many teens, Sarah struggled with self-esteem issues. She sought validation through social media, comparing herself to others, and soon developed an eating disorder. Her mother, Cheryl, noticed the warning signs but didn't know what to do. Rather than lashing out or trying to control Sarah's behavior, Cheryl turned to prayer. Every night, she prayed over Sarah's room, anointing her daughter's bed with oil and speaking God's promises over her life. At first, nothing changed. In fact, things got worse. Sarah became more secretive and distant. But Cheryl didn't stop. She trusted that God was working behind the scenes, even when she couldn't see it. Months later, Sarah opened up to her mom, revealing her struggles. That moment of vulnerability became a turning point, not just for Sarah, but for their entire family. God's plan called to spiritual warfare. In the message, God emphasizes that this battle cannot be won through worldly means. Put on the full armor of God, he says, for you will need it. This includes the belt of truth, the breastplate of righteousness, and the shield of faith. The spiritual weapons we use are what will protect our daughters from the enemy's fiery arrows. It's not enough to simply pray once and hope for the best. This is a daily battle that requires persistence, dedication, and unwavering faith. God encourages us to keep interceding on behalf of our daughters, even when we don't see immediate results. God doesn't promise that the storm won't come, He assures us that it will. But He also promises that He will be with us and our daughters through it all. This is a time for perseverance, not despair. Story 3: The Role of Faith During the Storm. John and Lisa, devout Christians, raised a daughter, Emily, in a strong faith-based home. But when Emily turned 19, she decided to move out and live with her boyfriend, despite her parents' disapproval. Heartbroken, John and Lisa felt they had failed. However, they chose to stand firm in their faith. Every night, they prayed for Emily, asking God to protect her and bring her back to her faith. Months went by with no change. Emily seemed content in her new life, but deep inside, she was battling doubt and guilt. One night, during a particularly rough patch, Emily felt an overwhelming urge to call her parents. That phone call was the first step toward her spiritual restoration. John and Lisa's consistent prayers and unwavering faith had opened the door for God to work in Emily's heart. God's plan called to spiritual warfare. Test of faith when things fall apart. God acknowledges that there will come a moment when everything you've done may feel like it's in vain. Your daughter may rebel, walk away from everything you've taught her, and you'll find yourself asking, "Why, God?" But even in this moment of despair, God is at work. He assures us that He will not abandon our daughters. In fact, He is working in the darkest moments, even when we can't see it. The enemy will try to convince you that you failed, that it's too late, that your daughter is too far gone. But these are lies. God reminds us that He is the God of restoration, the God who brings beauty from ashes. Story 4: A Daughter's Return. Jenna had always been the rebellious one in the family. Despite her parents' best efforts, she walked away from the church at a young age and embraced a life that was far from her Christian upbringing. Her parents, however, never gave up. They prayed for her daily, trusting that God would eventually bring her back. Years later, after going through a series of life challenges, Jenna found herself broken and lost. It was in that moment of brokenness that she remembered the faith of her parents, the prayers they had prayed over her, and the love they had shown even when she had pushed them away. She reached out to them, And slowly, with their support and God's guidance, she found her way back to faith. Jenna's story is a testament to the power of prayer, persistence, and God's grace. The victory, a story of restoration. God ends the message with a promise of victory. The storm may be fierce, but it will pass. Your daughter will come through stronger in her faith, more committed to righteousness, and more aware of God's love. The key is to remain steadfast, to continue praying, loving, and trusting in God's promises. This victory isn't just for your daughter, it's for you as well. Through this trial, your faith will grow, and your family will emerge more united, more grounded in God's truth. A message of hope. In this battle, you are not alone. God is with you, and He will guide you every step of the way. As parents, your role is crucial, but remember that God's love for your daughter is even greater than your own. He will protect her, guide her, and ultimately bring her through this storm stronger than before. Trust in Him, stay firm in your faith, and continue to pray without ceasing. The victory is coming.
If this message resonates with you, hit that like button and let the universe know you're ready for your breakthrough. Subscribe to our channel for more transformative insights and guidance on your journey to abundance. Share this video with friends and family who need to hear this today. Let's amplify our positive energy together. Your engagement not only helps us grow but also strengthens the cosmic energy we are building as a community. Together, we can uplift each other and manifest our dreams into reality, one positive action at a time.